In these last few days before 2019, we're all going to spend a little bit of time thinking about New Year's resolutions. You might have some of yours like trying to lose weight, exercise better, all that stuff. Sorry. My New Year's resolution is getting everyone the best education they get. You see, most people who do YouTube prefer paying education over the free education. You might be asking me, why are you sticking with the education beat? Why not move on to some different topics? We will. Not until people realize that free education is free versus paying for your education. I mean, you telling your parents, I'm going to drop out of school to do YouTube, they're going to look at you and like, you ain't dropping out of school. I mean, public education is free. Private and online school, you have to pay for it. You got to hire a tutor. You gotta hire a tutor. You gotta hire a teacher. You gotta hire everyone. Do you think your parents will have enough in their savings to hire a teacher? No. Like I told you on Friday, if you're paying for money, you have choices. You can pay for a private school or buy into a neighborhood that has a better public school. I prefer the public school because it's free. I never dropped out of school. Never. You might be all asking me, why didn't you drop out of school if you're going to do YouTube? Because I never made videos. I never once had the opportunity just to make videos. I mean, when I started doing the show, I was going to move it towards 4:30 because that's when I was going to be out of school. In this case, with my job, if we were to do it every 3 days a week, 3 to 4 on Sunday, then we would have to start like 3:30 after I got back from work. Like at 4, it's like a 30-minute show. So many people prefer paying the school because they don't want to go to public school. Let's compare. Public school is free because it counts for tax dollars. I mean, we all pay taxes, and some of the tax money goes to the school, and that's how we got the big amount of money. Like, every school is spending like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per student. I mean, what you have to understand here is that when you're going to get yourself an education, you need to go to a free school. So if you were to look at public education, like if you were to look at free education versus paid education, Rampages.us would tell you, in some countries, free education is offered at primary and even secondary levels. In conclusion, the paid education ensures the far better quality in education as compared to the free education. And the free education only provides poor children with a chance to get the education and get in a competition. I mean, money is being spent to hire new assistant principals, new buildings, so what you have to understand here is that if you're going to be doing homeschool, you're going to pay for it. Private school, you're going to pay for it. Catholic school, I don't know if you're going to pay for that. So what you have to understand, if you're going to get your child a perfect education, just Take them to the public school. Nobody deserves to. And then when they go into teen years, they say, "I'm going to drop out of school because I'm going to do online school," and then do YouTube. And they're going to be like, "No, I mean, if you're going to be doing online school, you got to pay for it. I mean, you're going to be wasting your parents' money on your education. I mean, when they pay bills and they look at it as like, we got to cut back on your online school. And by law, under 18, you cannot drop out of school. By law, you have to go to school. If you don't go to school, I think you can be arrested. If your child hasn't been going to school, we talked about this before. I mean, back in my earlier videos, we talked about truancy, and a lot of truancy has been happening because when people drop out of school, the truancy rates go higher and higher and higher. If your kid misses a lot of days of school, then it'll be truant officers. Most schools have budget cuts because of that. And then if your kid doesn't show up at school, the school will call your parents saying that you could face jail time or pay a hefty fine. It's truancy. We've been discussing this issue over the years. I mean, over these last few episodes. I mean, in this past year, we've probably been discussing truancy. But going back to the free education versus paid education, I mean, online school, you got to pay for it. Free education, you just go sit in a classroom. I mean, you sit in a classroom for like 7 or 8 hours and then you're done. I mean, homeschool, you got to pay for it. We get free education for our tax dollars. We pay taxes, and some of those tax dollars go to the schools. And that is where we got our tax dollars from. I pay taxes, and some of that, and look, I pay taxes, my mom pays taxes, my dad pays taxes, my sister pays taxes, my brother pays taxes, my sister-in-law pays taxes, my sister pays taxes, all my friends at work pay taxes. And some of those tax money, some of those tax dollars that we pay to Uncle Sam goes to the schools. You have to understand, parents, if you send your child into a public school and they decide to drop out, you're going to be left with a tough decision. What do I do? Just tell them, like, you can't drop out of school because it's illegal. I mean, you can't drop out of school at an early age. I mean, if they say, well, I want to do online schools, I hate paying our taxes. And like, they'll look at you like, no, this is not how it works. Like I said before, we pay our taxes, some of the tax dollars go to the schools. That's it. No school district, I mean, it's against the law. If you're under 18, you can't drop out of school. If you're 18, I mean, minors cannot drop out of school. If you drop out of school, like I said, the truancy rates are going to go higher. How can you keep the truancy rates low? Stay in school. If you miss a lot of days in school, like we talked about this before, you will go to truancy court. The more days you miss of school, there will be parent conferences, and then you have to go to truancy court. You will be there, your parents will be there, the school district will be there, and you'll be faced in a shirt and a tie in front of the judge. And when the judge asks you, why are you skipping school a lot? Because that's a lot of absences. It could be because of bullying. I mean, there are programs. I mean, the judge will order you to go to certain programs like counseling. I mean, you say, I don't want to go to school. I do YouTube. And looking at Jack Doherty and Tom Tracy's case, they skipped school a bunch of times, and I think Tom Tracy had like 9 absences because of all his videos. I mean, if you look down his videos, you can really count the absences. If you look at Jack Doherty's case, you would find that he has been skipping school a lot. That seems to me that people like these two prefer to get a paid education more than free education. So the bottom line here is this: stay in school. If you drop out at an early age, truant rates are going to go higher. And it's going to be up to you, parents, to decide. I mean, what do I do? I mean, faced with a decision that you have to make, it'll be up to you to decide that I want what's best for you want what's best for your child. So my New Year's resolution is to get the better education that all kids get, even for teens. Because you drop out of school at an early age, truant rates are going to go up, you're going to go out and do more crimes. I mean, it's all over the news. I don't want to have to go through dozens of news articles today just to point out the facts. Simple. No one prefers paying for homes. You gotta hire a teacher, you gotta hire everything. Hire a tutor. It costs money. I mean, if your kids do not like school, well, they're gonna have to get used to it. They're gonna be going like, "Oh, I don't want to go to school." Well, it's probably too bad. I mean, like I said before, if you are in the South Texas area, you go where you're zoned. If you live in the Flower Bluff area, you go to school in Flower Bluff. You live in the Toulouse area, you go to the school in Toulouse Midway. CCISD, you go to the CCISD school zone. Cal Allen. I mean, school may be boring, but sometimes it's fun. That's my New Year's resolution. So hopefully by the time this airs, hopefully the parents can get through to their children that free education is better than paying for their education. Alright, next, our update show. Because we're going to the New Year's. We haven't done our Christmas show. So it's going to be 2 updates combined in one. So, next, coming up, an update show. We're going to look at some of the best topics ever that had made 2019 the best year ever for this show. I was afraid that including one topic that surprised me. I was scared that I'm going to tell you the reasons why I was so scared. I don't want teachers' unions and Democrat and the schools coming after me with lawsuits and stuff. We'll talk about all that after the break. We are just 3 days away from the new year of 2020. And to do that, what we're going to do is our update show. We haven't done it last Christmas because I was busy. So it's 2 updates in one. We're going to look back at some of my favorite Give Me a Break topics from all over the past 2 years. I started back in 2017 just because I wanted to get things off my chest. So, let's look back at one of my very latest from a month ago. About 1 month ago, we talked about a Dateline hidden camera investigation back in 2000 about where do puppy mills come from and how you can get your very first puppy, what he introduced you to. Well, back then, when I started thinking about doing this, I thought that would be a great thing for all pet lovers to do. Think about buying their first pet and stuff. Man, talking about how you gotta protect your windows, the curtains, the couches. Make sure your cats don't scratch the couch. Find a safe place for your cats to, for your pets to roam around and all that stuff. I mean, and in that video, we saw a Dateline hidden camera investigation into puppy mills using hidden cameras. We looked at some of the puppies that were injured. All right. So that's that. That's like one of my favorites. Now, who could forget about this one from 2 months ago? Parents cussing at kids. I talked about how it was very unacceptable for parents to be cussing at kids. I was afraid that parents who have a YouTube channel would be commenting down saying, "How dare you? I raise my kid. I cuss at my kids and they don't cuss at me." On the other hand, if positive parents were to say this, they would agree with me. Like, yes, I would agree with you. I mean, I agree. You should never ever cuss at your kids. What I said before is if you start using profanity in front of your child, they're going to start learning it in school, and then the kids will be saying, "I learned it from my mommy and daddy." And then the principal's going to be like, "You should be ashamed of yourself." And they're gonna be mandatory for all parents to have. What I think should happen is it should be a mandatory thing for, excuse me, all parents to take parenting classes. Meaning they want to meaning to become a better parent. So that's what I think should happen. If a parent should decide to cuss their kid and then their kid decides to do it in school, the worst thing that can happen is the parents are going to get blamed, not the children. Okay. One of my favorites ever is the segment where I talked about a camera in the bathroom. I'm not going all out saying that cameras should not be in bathrooms. I mean, all cameras should not be in bathrooms because that's an invasion of privacy. But we focused in on one restaurant called Wings and More that had a camera in the bathroom because the owner said, he doesn't want his bathroom to be vandalized. A viewer went into Channel 6 and Channel 6 started to investigate. I mean, this was back years ago. And I don't know if that camera's still in there. If you would have walked by Wayne's and More and you saw that camera, you know what would happen. Complaints would be filed. And the owner would be like, this ain't right. Okay. Now, who could forget this amazing topic that had 7 views? It's the see you at the pole thing. If you don't know what that is, it's probably a thing for like all schools. For like all schools like go to the flagpole and pray. But what happened at my old school, if you saw it on the news and you would know about a student who and his mom one day got like a dozen donuts. And then the security guard gave the student permission to be to help out on the microphone. But there's more to this than meets the eye. After all that, after she opened her Bible, it was the assistant principal who said, "Get out of here! You're the beliefs on minors, yada yada yada." And then after all that, the principal apologized in a Facebook post. And then the principal said, "Well, we can reschedule it." I would have to agree. I mean, all schools give students rights. I mean, what about you could just say to your principal, "What about my constitutional rights?" I would have to agree. Okay, we're gonna have more on the. We're gonna have more on our New Year's update. More on our New Year's update when we come back. Welcome back to the Best of Give Me a Break from 2019, where we look at some of our best topics from over the 2019 school year. We have some for 28. Let's look back 9 months ago. The first ever hidden camera investigation into the Schofield family, 1 month after they appeared on Dr. Phil. There was a full episode of Dr. Phil that got me started on this Gimme Break investigation into this woman named Susan Schofield, who had a YouTube channel posting her son on YouTube. And if you were to see like some videos, she films her on the toilet, in the shower, even at 5 a.m. I would have to agree with Dr. Phil. I mean, she said to the producer that she believes that Bodie has schizophrenia when he's actually on the autism spectrum. That's not the case. What is the case here is that, I mean, you can't even go on something. She went to like 50 doctors. One doctor confirmed schizophrenia when he was actually diagnosed on the autism spectrum. There are certain autism spectrum diseases like what I have. If you watch the Hurricane Harvey special from back in from last year, back in 2018, you would know you would know about me. I mean, we conducted like a 5-part investigation, like a 4 to 5-part investigation into this. Even the trial update, I mean, there was no conclusive evidence. She said in the episode that she had bipolar. And what's that got to do? So in regards to this, she would have to get help, and the rest of the children are in the rest of the children are in foster care. Okay. Now, who could forget about this? 8 months ago, we talked about the violence in video games. We talked about how violence in video games causes aggressive tendencies from psychologists. I asked the question, does violence in video games cause aggression? It doesn't cause people to go out, buy a gun, and go shoot up the school. Playing GTA. If you play GTA 5, you kill a cop, you're thinking about shooting up a school. That's not how it works. I talked about what was the best game for your child at the age. Your first video game would be, we talked about the game rating system. There's E, E10, T, M, and M. Even if it's your favorite game, under the age of 13, that's not right. There are many kids under the age of 17, many teens under the age of 17 buying GTA. They're minors. And then, your first game should be, I recommend Spider-Man or game show games or sports games. Those are E-rated games. M-rated games like Family Guy or South Park or GTA, that's rated M. 17 or older. I mean, you can ask a homeless man to buy you that game, and then I don't even want to go there. So basically, first game you should buy your child is an E-rated game. Don't let them go for teen-rated games under the age of 6. Jeez Louise. Okay. Now, who could forget this? Who could forget this? Who could forget this? I mean, who could ever forget this topic? A year ago we talked about truancy. Now we're going to focus in on about 11 months ago we talked about truancy school. This came after I saw a Dateline report on my VCR talking about how truant schools, how traffic schools allow kids to sleep or walk around. I mean, you gotta teach the kids, not just make them sit in there and watch videos. I mean, people just like them leave the class early because of all that stuff. I mean, if you're being assigned to traffic school, you go to traffic school until the end of the day. Jeez. I mean, now, one more. Who could ever forget about this topic about lifeguards? I mean, we talked about how lifeguards is they just sit up there all bulk and, hot in their swimsuits and stuff. We talked about how, if you saw a 2020 report on lifeguards, you would know about how lifeguards not do what they're supposed to, on their electronic devices and all that stuff. The reason I wanted to do this because, if you see lifeguards not doing their job, report it to the manager immediately. Alright, a bonus. Vertical videos. I talked about this, meaning that vertical videos. This is a vertical. This is vertical. This is landscape. Vertical, landscape. Vertical, landscape. Vertical, landscape. Shoot landscape. Say the image is wide. Landscape is you don't have time to, you just go and then that's how it is. So basically, don't film in vertical, just firm landscape so the image is wide. Alright. Like I said, we're going to do one more. I'm going to do a bonus. Years ago, I talked about the cop. About 2 years ago, it was like the very first Give Me a Break. Almost like 2 years ago, I talked about how this cop was fired for challenging to a fight after the kid in the front and passenger seat said "F the police." There was more to this than just him being fired. The parent decided to speak out for the very first time after that had happened. I mean, he was just in his teen years. I mean, the parent was just in his teen years. I mean, what happened was the cop was just sitting there and the guy's like, "F the police!" And then so why do you want to F the police? I mean, it's a little bit more than being stupid. I mean, that's just a lot more than just being stupid. I mean, no one understands that you can't be saying this kind of stuff. It's going to get you in trouble. Lastly, I've been talking about this a lot. Closed campus. I mean, I talked about why closed campuses are closed. I mean, not because of the hours. I'm talking about students just living in your class during lunch. That is generally a safety issue. Why is that? Let me tell you why. If a student were to go out of the school and then go into his or her car, driving off, they can get in an accident, and the school would be calling the parents saying, "Your child is missing," and then the parents call the child and is like, "Hey, where are you?" I mean, you're at the hospital. Why? Because you got in an accident. And who was to blame? The school. Because the school allowed this to happen. I mean, there are many ways that kids get out of campus, like the old "can I go to the bathroom" trick. You guys go to the bathroom or to go get a drink and then you leave the building with no one watching. No security. Alright, we're going to continue our update show on Wednesday, on our New Year's Day, so it's not over yet. Part 2 will be coming up on New Year's Day, January 1st, so be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, that's all the time we have. We'll continue our update show on the 1st, or tomorrow. And a new reminder, Give Me a Break will be on 4 days a week, so I don't know. So we might have a new Give Me a Break depending on. There might be a new Give Me a Break, so we'll probably do an update show on Wednesday. So I'll see you tomorrow for a brand new edition of Give Me a Break with all some regular topics and stuff that you might enjoy. Good night.